Are live. This is actually our Monday live that we're doing, and this is all about getting your small business ready for a grant. Okay. Now, I do have Deborah with me, and we're going to just go over a little bit information of what you can do to get your small business ready, whether it's a regular small business or whether or not you have a nonprofit or whatnot. We're going to go over some tips that will help you to go ahead and get grant ready. Okay. Because we're trying to get to this money. So, hey, and grants are definitely free money. So we want to go ahead and share that information with you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Deborah. Let her go ahead and introduce herself. If you guys have any questions about grants and all of that goodness, feel free to drop them in the chat. And as well as to just housekeeping a little bit. Hello. Looks like we have Marquita, we
Hello,
have
everybody.
Anna. Let's see, we got Nikki. Who else do we have? Who did I miss? Latanya, Anais. Okay.
Ian
Yes.
and
Okay.
Michelle.
All right.
Hi,
Awesome.
everyone.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys joining us today. And just a little bit of housekeeping. So, next week, we will be live again next week at 1 p.m. I am going to be going for those of you guys that are interested or currently do have virtual call center businesses. We're going to do a Q&A session next week. After this live, you should automatically be transferred there so you can go ahead and set a reminder. So we're going to be doing a Q&A session, and then I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes of the IBO Launch Academy. I'm gonna let you guys see exactly what it looks like inside. If you were to get inside that course, you can see what's inside of there, okay? You can scan that QR code at the top of the screen. I can drop it in the chat as well. That way you can set your reminder as well for that particular live too. And that's gonna be next Monday. All right, Deborah, go ahead and take it away. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, this money-making afternoon. And Konika and I wanted to share some tips about using other people's money to fund and grow your business. Just a little disclaimer, I suffer from lupus, so if you hear me stutter over my words, it's just me having a lupus moment. So, but I do know what I'm talking about. So, a lot of things what I wanted to talk to you guys about is being grant ready. Yeah, there's lots of money out there and it's easy to find if you hunt for it. But you want to make sure that you align your business up and you're just looking for money that's aligned with your business purposes, whether you're a nonprofit or just starting up. There's certain applications and things that you have to do to make yourself grant ready. Both Kunika and I have won several grants before, and it's because we did the work, we did our homework, and we know how to communicate our message and what we want to do. So that's the key to all of it, is being able to tell your story so that you're attractive to the grant funder. The first one I want to make sure that you understand is you have to make sure that your business or your nonprofit is structured in the format that's fundable, because nobody wants to lend money to or sow seed into grass that's not producing anything. So you got to make sure that you're telling your story and you know who you are, you know what your missions are, and you're doing that. So let's start with some basic rules about funding. There's several steps, and 1 second while I get to my screen, that I might share with you all.
Now, let me ask you too, while you're bringing that up here, Deborah. So, when you're talking about your story, what are some things that people should actually share about their story that would actually help them to either get the grant or make them just be a little bit more appealing to when they're submitting those applications?
So you want to make sure that you're communicating how you're helping, the problem that you're solving, and the reason why you're seeking the funds. So basically, say for instance, you are getting ready. Of course, as soon as I go live, the grass keeper's out here. So I'm sorry if you could hear that. But say you have a nonprofit and you need some computers for your daycare center or something like that. You want to be able to tell the grantor or the funders that this is what we're doing. Here's our demographics. Here's how we helping, and this is how we're going to apply the money to it. So when you tell your story, it has to be something that's appealing to them. So that's what I mean by just don't look for money, but look for things that have the same goal as you. Like for instance, a lot of these grant applications will say we want to help small businesses. We want to help increase diversity and inclusion. So when you apply for that grant, that's the message you want to tell them. You want to line your story up with whatever their question is. So I'll give you an example of that. There's this, for instance, right now, going on right now, and anybody who's a mom, you can also apply for this. But Pearleaf, the tea company, they have a grant currently out right now that's for moms, and it's encouraging moms to delegate, basically. So when you read over the grant application, there's questions on each grant application. Answer that first to see if, or look at that first before you even apply, to make sure that their mission, the reason why they're giving the funds, is something that you can communicate and speak to.
And that's the Pure Leaf grant, right?
The Pure Leaf grant,
I'm
right?
gonna put that in the chat for you guys, the Pure Leaf grant, so you guys can accept. I mean, go ahead and submit an application for it.
And that
Deborah
is
has sent me. It's
yeah, that's
August
Pure Leaf.
31st.
It's
Okay.
pureleaf.com, and then it's / no grant. And that grant is actually being open until August the 31st. And then they're going to bring it back again in September or October, I believe. So keep looking out for that. So I was talking about at the application preparation. Every single grant opportunity out there, it has the application process on it. So when you look at the frequently asked questions, it'll give you an overview of all the questions that they're going to answer. It's always good practice to have a separate Excel spreadsheet or Word document listing all the questions that they're asking, so that you can intelligently speak to that and put your answers back in there. You also want to use that tool because grants are highly competitive and your grammar and pronunciations work. So before you start typing in their applications, make sure you put it in some type of other software first, so you can check your grammar, your sentencing and stuff like that, because those type of things will kick you out of the process for running the grant. And these are grants that you are actually applying for, as opposed to grants that you are writing on yourself, requesting money for them, because that's a whole different process. Um, Research. I see people asking, where do you find grants at? Here's a I'm if I'm gonna put this in the chat. Can you put this in the chat for me, Kanika?
Mm-hmm.
Grants.gov. That's a website that's featured by the federal government, and it lists all the grants that's available. That's a great resource for me. That I do grant hunting every single Tuesday. I start there first, and then I also grant hunt on whatever I'm trying, whatever project I'm working on. I look for opportunities by that particular um, industry. For instance, if I'm looking to do something with mental health, then I'll look for grants opportunities in mission statements that say that's what we're focused on this area in this time. And there's a lot of that grants out there too. So for those who do mental health, there's a lot of mental health grants out there for that as well. Quadika put in there, hello, Alice. That's another great resource for grants. What else do I have? Then there is another one.
Even checking for within your state. So if you check
Yeah.
even your state resources that are available, like SBA and other places like that locally to you as well, will also have some grants that you can go through and apply for. So definitely check your local area too. Don't forget about that.
And one of the, I think she's on YouTube. She asks, "Are these grants worldwide?" Yes, there are international grants, and there's also some specific by your state and by the region that you're in. So you can look Google is the friend of everybody. If you also just Google available grants in my area, or available grants in healthcare, available grants in small business startup or minority owned businesses, if you type that in Google, it'll give you a list. Now be careful, there's a lot of scams out there too, because there are some grants out there, or some websites out there that'll charge you to for application, and some of them are free. I particularly like to use other people's money, meaning I want the free ones. I don't want to have to pay for somebody to tell me what to do that I know I already do. So try to look for those. If it's asking you for a fee, move on to the next one first of all, because I mean they're good opportunities, but you shouldn't have to. There's money out there that you won't need to, especially if you're a nonprofit where your funds are already, limited. So try to go for the ones that meet your application. Have you? Let me ask you a question. When you won your grant, it was because. Do you believe it was because of your pitch?
It was absolutely because of the pitch. Because I can honestly say the one that I had for that was the most, which was for 10K. It was definitely it was all in the pitch because that was the easiest $10,000 I ever got in my whole life.
Right.
There wasn't that many questions. It was basic, my name, my email address, my address, and then do a video. So it was all in the pitch.
So that's it. And a lot of the grants that you'll find, it will require you to do a video. So if you want practice, just practice telling your elevator pitch. Some people think I'm crazy sometimes when I get on the elevator, right? I'll just pitch my business to a random stranger, especially when I'm talking about my nonprofit. And they be like, oh, but that's me practicing how to talk to or tell my story so that somebody wants to buy into it. So that's a good idea to just practice your pitch because that's what's going to make them attracted to you. If you can communicate your story, those are the things that grant funders are looking for. And again, like I said, it's very competitive. So you have to make yourself stand out. And if you're doing something, if you have testimonials, if you have video clips of yourself, then add that to your story, add that to the piece if they allow you to do so. Um, Financials, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them want to know if we give you this money, who is in charge? Who's on your team? Who's going to be managing the funds that we giving you? And how are we going to report? How are you going to report back the success of the grant and if we're working back? So you have to make sure that you have the team in place so that you can align it up with the requirements of the grant. For instance, some of them want to say report back to us every quarter of how this program is working, especially if it's a new program that you're starting up. I'll give you an example. Currently, for my nonprofit, we just got a grant to teach financial literacy to young kids. And one of the requirements of the funds is to know who's in our team, who's helping us teach these grants, and how do we know if it's being effective. So every week when we go teach the kids, I show a quick video, I take an attendance, and I tell like what type of programs that we're doing so that the kids, the funder know that, you know what, these kids are into this money, they into this grant program, and it's an successful event. So I'm reporting back to them how their funds is seeding the next generation, which is part of that particular funder's mission statement. So be sure that you can accommodate whatever their requirements is for reporting back to them. So a lot of times there's something called a Gantt list. They want to know what your financials look like before. So if I had, let me see, do I still have one of those on here? I was going to share it, but it's being able to organize your finances in a way so you can say how much you're spending on advertisement, how much you're spending on the actual products and software, how much you're spending on staffing and stuff like that. If you're a solopreneur, you might not have all those things, but you're still spending on advertising, you're still spending on program material and stuff like that. So make sure you have clear and concise records so that you can tell that as well. I see. Any other questions in here so far?
No, I didn't see any
I want to make
questions.
sure I'm not missing anyone. Um, all right. So you said that your pitch was important to your which help you make the
Yeah, so for that particular one, I was it first of all, it was the one that I had got the Beyonce grant. I'm a big Beyonce fan, so I was super hyped that I ended up getting it. But it was a Beyonce grant through the NAACP. But yeah, it was all in the pitch. Like I said, the questions were minimum. I didn't have to submit no financials. I didn't have to, it was straight jump on, do this video for 2 to 3 minutes, tell us why we should give you the money.
Right.
And it
It,
was it was definitely straightforward. And it's funny because that particular one, it was really last minute. I found it and it was about to close that day. And I'm like, man, let me hurry to get myself together real quick and let me just jump on camera and let me do it. And I was actually surprised at that one. But yeah, we've gotten other, smaller ones. But like she's saying, having your financials in order. I know that, and there are systems obviously that you can use. Like you could use something like QuickBooks. That would be something that's helpful, especially starting out. Like I have a QuickBooks account. Need to make sure that I get everything,
yeah.
organized even within there. But definitely, if they ask for that, I think that's something helpful. I'm pretty sure Deborah's going to go into like business plans and stuff like that. I'm
Right.
actually working on my official business plan really for the very, very first time, really. Um,
And
um,
being surprised, that's surprising me but people say that all the time, knowing that a business plan is a living document. So even though you might not have your business plan all together right now,
yeah.
that's okay because your story is growing and it's forever changing. But
Mhm.
as long as you have a plan and you just not flying off the seat of your pants, that's what the funders want to know.
Yeah,
They want to know
exactly.
that they're so, like I said, they're sowing into good ground. So the plan, the pitch, the business plan, your projections, all of those things are important when you're asking for other people's money.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so you definitely want to have clear and state your goals. You got to have those things stated clearly. Why are you asking me for money? What are you going to do with the money I give you?
Yeah.
That's what you need to be able to strongly communicate with the funders. That's how you make yourself grant ready. I get, especially from the nonprofits, I get calls all the time saying, I need money for this or this or this or this, or this. What are you doing? Well, we got this going on. Who knows that? Do you have a web presence? Not all of them will require you to have a web presence, but it's the way to back up your story. If you have a web presence, show your showcase, tell your testimonials, tell people what you're doing. Make sure you have a piece in there saying this is what we're doing currently and here's how you could help. Especially if you're a nonprofit, you want to be able to be found. The first thing anybody do, especially young people, if they put your business out there, the first thing they're going to do is Google you. So
Mhm.
same with the funders. The first thing they're going to do is Google you to see if you have a web presence. A lot of the grant applications will even ask you to put your social media handles on there.
Yeah,
So
they will.
make sure you have those ready. If you're not on social media, fine, but you want to make sure you're digitally present somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we have one question. I can put it on the screen here at the bottom. Robin, she says, how do you go about writing your grant so that you can stand out?
You have to understand your story, right? Tell what you to tell what makes you. It's just like when you looking differentiating yourself from your competitors. Write your story in the way that is compelling so that you show your strengths, you show your weaknesses, and you show where you're struggling at and where you helping to be. Everybody knows when you're looking for a grant, it's because you got a mission, you got a story to tell, you got a purpose. That doesn't mean everybody going to fund you based on that purpose. So tell the most important stuff first and then answer every question that they ask you, not based on your story, but based on the question that they ask you. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of people make is they're so busy telling their story that they're not even answering the question that was asked. So read the application question and respond accordingly to that. And
Awesome.
so and Robin, I'll put my email address in here as well. Well, if you guys you want help, you want me to take a look at yours, I will do that for anybody who wants to email me. I'll take a look at what you got going on and help you strategize on how to be grant ready. Let's see what else is in here. Research. We talked about research and grants, right? Uh, every depending on what industry you are in, when you look at the mission statements of, say, for instance, I'll just say Coca-Cola or one of the software drinks, Everybody has some type of way that they're giving back. A lot of times, same with the banks, the industries of the banking industries, on their community outreach platform. Start there first. Go to the companies, like for instance Walmart or any of the big name places out here. If you go to their community outreach plans, it'll tell you where they're giving back at, and those is how you can find grants as well. Every um, big baller has some type of grant opportunity out there. Google their name and see what their causes are, and you can also, respond to their grants according to that. Grants again are very competitive. Normally, people do them at the beginning of the quarters, at the beginning of the year, because they're trying to say that they're spending the money effectively. So you want to have a grant plan. What I do is I use Asana to map out what grants I'm going for. Because, like I told you, I grant help every Tuesday. And once I find something, it might not be time, but I make sure I start preparing myself and I keep my applications consistent so that I'm tweaking it to meet the needs of that particular grant that I'm looking for.
I think that's pretty important too, like kind of like what you said, because I think me and you do something similar because we have these conversations. But like how you use Asana, I use Trello. Like I think it is important to kind of map out what grant you're going for, when you applied, when it's supposed to end, so you can kind of
Mhm.
go back and take a look at it, having your questions that you know that you're going to put on different, so you don't have to keep rewriting the same thing, right?
Yes.
It's important to have that listed somewhere so you can kind of just copy and paste that answer to that question, being that a lot of grants, some of them ask similar
The
questions.
similar
So
questions.
yeah,
Yes.
so we don't need to keep, doing all this extra work when we've already put some in there. So definitely create some type of system. Like you said, yours is Tuesdays. I try to do mine on Fridays and try to go through there. Let's say, let me see what I'm going to go through and, try to hunt down this week. And some of them you put in, you're going to get some, you're going to win some, you're going to lose a lot.
You're
But
going to
one
use a
thing about
lot
it
because
is you're going
they're
to lose a lot. But you definitely got to put your hat in the ring and continue to keep put it in for these grants, because if you have a small business, you have a nonprofit, you're definitely eligible for this. And you don't have to be making money in order to be able to get a grant. You just got to be in
right.
business a lot of times.
You just
So
got to communicate your story and
yeah.
tell it. And then again, showcase your strengths, showcase who's on your team. If you got interns that you bringing on, showcase that as well, because the funders want to know that you're not only asking for money, but you're being a blessing to the community, especially now when everybody has, diversity and inclusion on their map. Everybody's trying to be equal friendly and stuff like that. So if you're doing things that tell that story, those are the type of grants you should be seeking after, because that's where the money are. And if you have something that's unique and different in the tech world and GP Tech, and you can, oh, that's another one. You can also use AI. I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but you can use AI to help communicate your story as well too. So if you just don't know how to tell your story, try Chat GPT and say, "This is my business. How can I communicate my message?" And let them give you the words to use. To tell your
Mhm.
story. It's a great tool. Some people have their ins and ends about it, but it's a great way to communicate or find words when you're struggling to tell your story.
It's definitely a great tool. That's one of my favorite tools. I love using it. Now, I'm not gonna do the picture thing that I see people using, like have AI create my picture. Like I'm
Yeah,
kind of good on
that's a
that.
little creepy for me.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much. I'm gonna be running around like duplicated somewhere. Like, so that's a little bit too much for me, but definitely using it for, like you said, writing stuff. I definitely will do that. Now I'm gonna put Deborah's question up here. I will just say one thing about it, and then I'll let you answer the question.
Okay.
Deborah's question is, what type of grants do you look for a virtual call center business? I do want you guys to really think about, like, when you add on that last part for a virtual call center business, I do want you guys to kind of get in the mindset to understand, like, when it comes for your business getting funding, that part really doesn't really matter. It's kind of going back to like what she said about articulating your value. And as a virtual call center business, one of your most valuable assets is that you're helping to employ people. You're
That's it.
helping people to be able to make a living for their family. And
That's
there's
it.
value in that. And people are willing to give you money. So don't think because you have a virtual call center business that your business is less than any other business that's out here. That doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. It's all about you being able to articulate what it is that you do, your value in what it is that you do, your end user result of what it is that you do. Okay. And I'll let
Exactly.
Deborah answer
Exactly.
too.
And Deborah, depending on who your niche is, like whoever your niche is, if your niche is stay-at-home moms, if your niche is college students, you want to tell the story on that because there's a lot of college students out there struggling. And if you're funding them and helping them funding their education by providing them the job, that's the story you're telling. Those are the type of businesses or grant opportunities you want to look for, those who give money for single moms or dads and stuff like that. So communicate your value. Look for grants that tell the same story you're telling. This has the same value you're telling. Just because it's a virtual call center job, again, you differentiate yourself by saying you're a virtual call center, but you're also providing jobs. That's huge. Especially in a diverse area where jobs are struggling, or a remote area where jobs are struggling, or people have still have issues with these diseases out here. So, or people who have issues with mental health and can't really be in the workplace without feeling triggered. Those, look for ways to tell your story in a special way when you look for grants. Being
Absolutely.
just because you're a virtual counselor, that doesn't mean you're not fundable. You're still fundable.
And understanding too what it is that you're going to do with the money
Right.
too. So a lot of times you do have to, when you're applying for a grant, you do have to let them know what it is that you're going to do with the money. So it can't really just be, I just want this money just because I want your free money. You do have to be able to say what exactly that you're going to use this money for. Like a lot of popular things that people do, it will say a lot of times are for marketing and for advertising, because we can all use marketing and advertising in various ways. But being able to articulate what you're going to use the money for as well, in regards to how that's going to help you grow your business or continue
Right.
to manage your business. Or even it could be equipment. Maybe you need to upgrade your equipment. Maybe you need another computer. Maybe you need headsets or something like that. Or maybe you want to, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you let the person that's funding you, the funder, know exactly what it is that you're going to do with that money as well. But definitely being a virtual call center business doesn't make you non-fundable. So we just
Right.
want
And
to kind of
again,
put that out there.
you also want to look at the rules, because in the rules of the grants, it'll also tell you the type of projects they're providing funds for. So if you're saying on here, I want to get money to manage my cash flow, but their application says this is for growth only, not to pay old debts, then that's a grant you don't want to apply for, because you're automatically going to knock yourself out of the running. So you want to read the rules to find out exactly who they're funding, and then look at their case histories. If you actually, sometimes the grant, especially on Hello Alice, they'll tell who the recipients were, right? So go back and look at those videos to see if you could do anything like that or similar to, because that'll give you ideas. Um, Especially when you're telling your story, like what was the story, what was their project, what makes their project so different than mine, and be able to communicate that. I've gotten grants for buildings, for our church, for our nonprofits. I got grants for locations. I have gotten grants for computers, and it's all on what you're going to do with the money and how are you going to communicate that. They want to know that you're making a difference. This is the reason why they're giving money out in the first place. These philanthropists, they want to share their wealth to make to people who are going to be sharing the wealth as well. So tell that story. I don't. How long are we on for?
As long as till you finish.
Okay.
Yeah, you
So
good.
let's see. Let's see what else I can share off the top of my head. I talked about the application process, making sure you have an application prep, and basically that is review the questions before you start writing your answer, so that way you'll know what they're answering and you can articulate each question and anticipate how they're going to answer it. Do your research the company too. So you want to know if this particular company that's giving them money, if they're aligning with your core values, because sometimes they might be doing something that you don't believe in, so make sure you're seeking funders who actually line up with your core values as well. um, Develop the pitch. We talked about that. Telling your story. Both Quinico and I have won grants based on our be able to say, "Hey, real quick." And you know what? Funny. The funny thing is, every grant that I've won as well has been something I seen and it was due that day. Last minute video.
Yeah.
So, and it's because I practice my pitch all the time. And what else?
And
Set
sometimes
goals.
too, do you find like, because sometimes even when it comes to the video, like sometimes they'll give you the option to write it or to do a video, but they'll make it optional. If it is optional, do the video. I'm telling you, do the video. You will be able to convey your story so much better if you do the video than if
Right.
you write. I'm telling you, do the video. Any opportunity that you can do a video, do a video. Okay? Do a
Exactly.
video. And you don't have to be all, because I'm the one that I did for that required a video that I did get, that one I wasn't even all the way together. Like I didn't have time to put on makeup and all that other type of stuff because it was due. And I was like, I only got a few minutes to be able to go through and just hit record and do it. So do the video though. Definitely
Yeah.
go through and do the video. Take the opportunity with the video. And if you don't know about how to actually tell your story, because I know sometimes that could be difficult. I know, like, even with myself, like a lot of the several things that I do, it's not always the easiest to be able to tell your story. Google storytelling courses. Okay. There are courses out there that help you to be able to tell your story. One
Right.
thing that I started doing in my business that made my business elevate a little bit more when I started to use storytelling tactics. I tell stories now. These are because that's something that you can draw people into, like who you are, what it is that you do, but sharing some examples of what you've been through that will actually go through and help that end user. So Google
Absolutely.
storytelling courses. I'm on Skillshare. If you guys don't know what Skillshare is, check it out. I can put my link in there for Skillshare. That's, I guess, a shameless plug, but they have courses on everything. So I know that there's a storytelling course somewhere in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, do that.
And I used a couple of months back. I shared the free source through Verizon. They had the small business readiness thing. There's a lots of classes on skill storytelling on there, and Toastmasters. If you're a Toastmaster, learn from pretty much find a Toastmaster in your community because that helps you tell your story. Period. I'm huge. I've
Absolutely.
been teaching my Girl Scouts since, and my kids are grown now. They're not even in Girl Scouts, but each one of them know how to tell a story based off of the stuff they learned from Toastmasters. Um,
Absolutely. Here's the Verizon one too, for people who want to know that Verizon one that she was just talking about, the Verizon Small Business
Small
Digital Ready
business
one.
ready. Yep.
Yep, I'm gonna put that to the top, you guys. So if you guys want to sign up for that, it's a lot of resources for you guys taking that. So
And those type of classes, especially if you're a small business, a lot of these big corporations have these pop-up shops or these pop-up courses to help you scale and grow your business. I know Merck has one, Bank of America has one, and a lot of times it's linked to a college or some type of educational things where you can get certificates for. So if you see those opportunities, take advantage of them. Chase has one. All of them basically have something, especially after COVID, trying to help rebuild, as they said, build back better. Those are some of the initiatives that came out of the government process. And then for all beings, utilize the small business center, utilize your colleges, your local colleges, because they all have a small business network. Utilize those services too, because they can help you as well. And a lot of times they also have free classes. Whenever you can do anything for free, try it because it's only going to help you perfect your game. You sharpen your toolbox.
did
Um,
you do the one through Bank of America, the
yes,
E for now?
ma'am.
Yeah, I
Yes,
did that one
ma'am. I
too.
sure did. That was a
Okay.
great one
That was
because
great. It was like what, 6, 7 weeks.
yes,
It was long. It was
and it
one
was
that was
worth
long.
it too.
It was definitely worth it. So many. It was the women's entrepreneurship one, and it was
Mhm.
free. But definitely, I think they come up. Matter of fact, it's July, so they might actually. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you guys. They might actually have it available now. I know a lot of times it's limited seating that they have on there.
Right.
Um,
I did it in 2021, I think it was.
yeah, that's what I think when I did mine too.
Yeah. But I know they have it all the time because I still go on there and see everybody that they're looking to help. Chase has one that they're due. And I know Merck has one that they're doing as well right now. And then this Verizon one right here is very helpful because you can see they got courses on everything. And the courses are like maybe 15, 20 minutes long. But they're very, very helpful. Uh, so, and then set a goal. Don't just look for money just because you're looking for money. Have a goal for your money. I'm looking for this grant because I want to XYZ. Um, I'm looking for this grant because I want to, get a new copier machine or something. Like, I'm just saying something simple. I'm looking at my copy machine knowing that it's broke right now. But something simple that you can use to help scale and grow your business. So set a goal for it, have an objective, know your financials, be able to communicate that, share your testimonials, share your team, and have a web presence. Be on social media or some type of way so the funder can research who you are to back up your story. Because this is a world of everybody trying to get over. If you saying something, make sure you can back it up with who you are with a visual presence or digital presence. Um, what else could I share?
What about documents?
Oh,
Supporting
documents.
documents.
Definitely documents. So again, some of them may require your bank financials. Some of them also may require you to have a business email um, partner. Like for instance, there's one business grant out there that you could do all your first part, but somebody who has a business email have to send a recommendation on your behalf. So be sure you have like a business email address, not yada 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 at gmail.com or yahoo.com. Make sure your business tagline, your email address is an actual business address. So, and I know you shared several times on how to get a free business address for your business email address.
Yeah, and then also too, just kind of pick it back off the email addresses, kind of let you guys know too. So like she said, it's not your company name at Gmail for your business. It's whatever at your domain.com is going to be a professional email address. But if you guys are using Google, so like you're using like G Suite or something like that, you guys can also create, and this is something I actually just learned. It was learned from another creator about a month ago that you can actually create alias email addresses under Gmail. So instead of having, so like we have like support at KD Jones, instead of having, well, we have support and we have hire at KD Jones, but I wanted to have one with my name. Instead of creating a separate one with my name and then having to pay for it, you can go to that email address and you can create, I think it's up to 20 or
I
30
think it's
different
one.
aliases.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that alias email address, so like if I have Kaniqua at Katie Jones, it will still hit that same inbox. That way you're not having two separate inboxes, but yet it's flagged under that particular email address. So if you guys want multiples under that one account, you can create some alias as well. So that's
Right.
going to save you some money. So you can
Save you
also
some
do,
points.
yeah, it's definitely going to save you some money instead of buying all these different email addresses and you have to log in and check them and stuff like that too.
And checking them because that's especially if you get as many emails as I get, it's
Yeah.
overwhelming. So it's to have them go funnel into one account.
Yes.
Child, that's game changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's game
Absolutely.
changing. Let's see. Oh, a purpose statement. So a purpose statement is basically telling your funder or potential funder what you plan on doing with the money. Why you in business, why you're seeking their help, what you plan on doing it. So be able to create a purpose statement for what's going on. Um, Past results of your work. Be able to tell this is what we're doing. Here's who is helping. So your testimonials are going to be good. Um, we talked about your pitch and understanding your pitch. So if you have your demographic, if you know who your avatar, create an avatar, as Kanika always say, for your business, so you know that we're helping this demographic of people. You can also create that and put that in your pitch. So be able to that you're talking to that particular demographic. And you can also use that same type of avatar for when you're searching for fundings. These are the people I want to feed or sow into my business. I want this type of company. Yeah, it's good. Money is money. Other people's money is good to have, but make sure you're aligning with your purpose because anything else is being hypocritical.
Absolutely, I
Um,
agree with that.
uh, Collaborations. Also, if you're working with another business who's doing something similar, and the grant is like a big grant, you can collaborate and tell this is what we're doing together. Those type of partnerships also work, but also make sure you have a partnership agreement so that you're not going into no funky stuff. But collaborations are a good way to find um, funds, especially if you're collaborating with your political officials. A lot of the political officials, especially if they're up and coming, they're trying to get their name in the community so they know where the money is. A lot of them will help host small business events, teaching you how to find government stuff. So check with your local official to see if they have any opportunities in your area for funding small businesses. Um, there's a great, I mean, the one look here in Philly, there was one a couple of weeks ago. Well, I'm not going to say the candidate's name, but it was one a couple of weeks ago, and he brought down everybody from PA, like all the funders and opportunities and the bankers from PA. He brought it into our neighborhood, and basically we was able to just fire off questions. Boom, 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 boom. How do we do this? What do we need this? How do we find this? What about community funding? They just laid it all out for us. So a lot of time your political officials will have a program, and if they don't, get in their ear and tell them to create one for you because they want to stay elected and they work for you anyway. So have them come to your neighborhood, have them come to your small business networking event and speak on how to get government funding for your business. What else can I have? You know, things.
Sure. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them into the chat as well. I did, like I said, I pinned a lot of things actually to the top of
Mhm.
the chat. So hopefully you can see it. The Pure Leaf grant is up there, pureleaf.com/no grants. That's due on August 31st. You can find grants at grant.gov, helloalice.com. Go to
Mhm.
the SBA, check your local listings, your local area websites. The program with Verizon that we were just discussing, that's inside of the pinned post if you want to do that. Skillshare, it
Skillshare, yeah.
basically it tells you everything that you can enroll in any types of classes. But I posted that if you guys want to go into like storytelling. And then the Bank of America one that we were talking about with the certificate for the women's entrepreneurship, that's pinned. It's not open, but they do have a wait list right now. So go ahead and if you want to do it, it's a great program. They go over so much. I forgot all of the topics they went over, but it was like a 7-week class. You had homework to do, you had projects you had to do. So it was work. It wasn't you just going and
Going in
watching
there.
videos. You had to do the work.
Yeah.
But she's got a certificate for it. I got a certificate for it as well.
And not only
Um,
that, I've gotten lots of customers from the collaboration of those who were in the class with me. So it actually helped me grow and scale my business because we made we did business networking after that, and business came from that. Not only that, I actually won another grant from learning of that project. I won the grant for waste management, and
okay.
out
Are
of
you
that, I
inside the
got
group
two.
too?
Hmm?
You inside the group as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is really good. Oh, and by the way, they send us out grants every week, every
Every
month.
month, every
Every
month they
month they
send us
send us out
another
a
one.
list of at least 20 grants, and they might not all apply to me, but they send out a list of grants every single month. And like she said,
Yes.
I think we both did ours in 2021, and so we've been getting grant information. So even though we still kind of hunt down grants, we don't
Right.
necessarily have to work as hard because we get that monthly list every single month as well. So that definitely does
That definitely
help.
helps. And again, like a lot of those opportunities, when you looking for stuff intentionally, you'll find it. And again, you just got to be prepared for it. Make it easier for yourself. I like to say, work smarter, not harder. Have your story told. Put it in a separate Word document so that you can just cut and paste and tailor the story or the question to whatever the question is being, or your answer to whatever the question is being done. Those are my quick tips on it. Um, Use a signer board or some type of tracking tool. I used to use, before I started using a sign, I used to use just a plain old Excel spreadsheet saying this is the grants that I applied for, here's when they're due, and this is the amount that I asked for. When I was writing my own grant proposals, and these are who I target, this is the story I told them, because I also create grants for not only myself, for my nonprofit, and I also do them for my church. So I'm always looking for funds, especially for the church and nonprofits. And those are harder to do because not everybody want to lend to a nonprofit. So, but it's money out there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, I think you shared a lot of great tips. It looks like a lot of people, they did get a lot from it. Nadira says she attended a women's entrepreneur conference recently, and the business center from Philly was there. I'm also from Philly, but I am just scratching the surface on my business. Awesome.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Yeah.
Let's connect because
Kudos
I can
again.
share some more resources for with you. Drop my email in here, and feel free to email me. Because especially if you're from Philly, because I'm always out here doing something in Philly, somewhere connecting with somebody, and I'll put you down. I don't have a problem with it, and I'm tight. I think it's gonna show up. Promo.com.
Yeah, should, and I could just pin it to the top once you put it in. It went straight to me, but I'll put it in there.
Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't open the private chat, but still. But feel free to anybody, feel free if you want me just to take a look at what you got going on, email me and I'll be more than glad to take a look at it for you and share my expertise, help you tweak your story if you need that as well, because there's a key to it. There's a key to telling your story. Like we said, there's all kinds of programs out there that teach you how to do that. But if you want me to review your pitch, I'll be more than glad to look over that for you as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate that information, Deborah. And I'm gonna share one more resource because it's one that we use right now. One of my coaches, they have me using this particular website that we use for our business plan, crafting our business plan. And when I tell you, it is so easy to do it this way. My new business plan is like 15 pages, okay? But it gives you every single, the website is called Live Plan,
Hmm.
and it gives you every single prompt for every single section. So what you do is it tells you like this is what you should put in this section as far as like answer these questions to put in this section. And then it also has like a built-in AI tool, like what she was talking, like Deborah was talking about. It has a built-in AI tool that you can put like what it is that you do, and then inside of it it will write that part out, and then of course you just kind of massage it to your
Massage it.
your business tone of voice and everything like that, and then boom, then that section's in your business plan, and then you go to the next section, and then it's crafting everything for you, and it allows for you, once you get to the end, you can download it, but it also gives you the option to input like all of your financials, and it will make a graph and everything for you. So it's a pretty cool feature. Definitely check it out if you guys are, trying to actually get like your official business plan done. And of course, it's like she said, it's a livable document, so you can always go back and update it and change information. But I found it to be extremely easy to get everything done.
Yeah,
That's
that's. I wish I would have had. You're gonna have me go back in and tell my story again because I use the one that the SBA provides, similar like that, but they don't have the AI piece to it. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. This one with the AI piece, I was like, okay, this is a game changer right here. You could just put in a little couple of things. And I'm like, some of the stuff that AI was giving me, I said, that's pretty good. Shoot, even I
right.
didn't even add that in. Like
I'll be
I'm
surprised. I'll
like,
be like,
man,
yeah,
okay.
I'll be like,
Like you know
that's
more than me
good.
than I know.
And then
So
I'll be
yeah,
mad, like, why I ain't think of that?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it is definitely a good tool as well. So you guys take note of that. Well, if you guys have any last minute questions or anything like that for Debra, maybe 2 minutes and stuff to give you a chance to get ready to type. Make sure you guys take note of her email address. Matter of fact, I'll just show it on the screen. Debra at unlimitedopportunitiespromo.com. That's her email address. It's right below on the screen, as you guys can see. So definitely feel free to email her your grant questions. Like she said, she offered to take a look at it. Some of your grant proposals. If somebody tell you to do that, take the opportunity to go through and do that. I would highly recommend. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can definitely feel free to drop them. And this was very, very good session, Debra. So if you guys end up tuning in the replay too, because I definitely want to talk to people in the replay, just hashtag replay. If you have any questions, I will make sure that, put them underneath the video, and I'll make sure that Debra gets them. I'll email her, or you can email her too. But if I see any questions that I can't personally answer, I'll send them over to Debra. Okay, let's make sure. You're welcome, guys. Well, being as you guys don't have any other questions, again, I appreciate always that you guys are joining us here. Nadira says she meant to mention that the conference was in Ghana. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Oh, wait, was that with the Small Business Center?
That was the one that she said, yeah, that was in Philly.
Yeah, the Small Business Center, those they're one of my clients. They get their promotional products from me. So I help with that one.
She helps with promotional products as well, guys. So again, make sure you guys contact her regarding that as well. Let me see. I'm trying to see, what is this? This is a
yep, that's in Nadira. That's the conference. Those well, everything you got, the swag that they gave you, that came from me.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to look through here. I see a different tag. I was trying to see what that tag was. That payer tag. I don't know if you see it, Debra.
No.
In the chat. Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. It doesn't show up on screen that way, but it shows up in the chat that way. I was just trying to see, what does that mean? I never seen that before in here. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure to, if you guys do, because some of you guys probably do, some of you guys probably don't, but if you do have a virtual call center business and you have questions regarding that, and you want to come to the session next week, be sure that you scan the QR code at the top on the screen. Or after this live, you'll automatically be rerouted there. So just make sure that you go ahead and just, of course, subscribe, like the video, share this with a friend too, because you guys know there was some gems dropped in this that Debra released to us today. So you want your friends to be able to get to this money as well. So make sure that you do share this with your friends and your family members. So, we're not gatekeeping any type of information. And again, if you guys want to join the live next week, scan the QR code. It'll take you to that particular live for next week, so you can schedule a reminder, or again, after this session, you'll automatically be routed there. So just go ahead and just schedule it. But I appreciate you guys joining us here today. I'm going to go ahead and close out this live, and I'll see you guys again next week, 1:00, and we'll have a new video coming out. What video is coming out this week? We'll have another video coming out this week on Thursday. We're probably going to do either I'm going to show you guys how to create a digital product, or I'm kind of debating, or I'm going to go over HoneyBook again. So it's going to be one of those videos.
I say digital project. You could do that one.
Do a project inside of HoneyBook?
Yeah, inside HoneyBook.
Yeah.
Because that's hard but easy.
Yeah, it is. It is. I want to talk about soon. I'm going to be talking about HoneyBook automations, because you're talking about being hard, but that one's one of my favorite ones too. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining, and I'm going to go ahead and close out the live, and you guys
have a prosperous week.